Good afternoon, everyone. We will be starting momentarily. Judge is having problems logging on.
Good afternoon, Miss Bridgewater.
How are you, Mr. Ian?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. I had to call and make sure everything was okay because it's not like him. So he's just having a little computer problems. Mhm. Even just,
Okay, everyone. I'm sorry. Was having some computer problems. Can you all hear me okay?
We can hear you, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Bridgewater, are you there?
I'm here, right here.
When's the good afternoon. When's the SAP reset date?
The reset date is March the 12th.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Where are we gonna start today?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Your Honor. We're going to start with position number one, Mr. Jeremy Brooks.
Okay. What position is this? What's the last name?
Position number one.
Position number one,
Jeremy Brooks. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Brooks. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, you've been charged in case 24 CR 0000891 with battery family violence. Is there a history? We have someone out from pretrial today. Oh, yes, Ms.
Yes,
Washington. Good
I'm
afternoon.
sorry. Good afternoon. I do have a history here. There are 13 prior arrest cycles beginning in 2010 with multi-state interaction in Texas. There's a 2014 aggravated assault in Fulton County under the First Offender Act. That case number is 14 SC 127216. And that last arrest was in 2023 in Texas for assault causes bodily injury to a family member. It appears that that case is still open and the defendant meets the criteria for release level 2. Nothing further.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Graham.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. My apologies.
That's fine.
This incident took place on June 16th, 2023. Law enforcement responded to 405 Fairburn Road, Southwest Atlanta. Upon arrival, they made contact with Denitra Dawson, Denetra, who stated that she was retrieving some items from her boyfriend, or I'm sorry, the father of her children's vehicle, Jeremy Brooks. She advised that she was a little upset that one of the items was missing. Mr. Brooks wanted to leave. He then walked over to the passenger side door, and where she was standing, pushed her to the ground, causing a small cut to her left cheek. Mr. Brooks was on the scene at the time, but refused to exit the apartment or speak to the officer. Our office has been in contact with Ms. Dawson. She stated that they are not in a relationship. They do not live together. They do share 6 children. The incident location is Mr. Brooks's residence. She denies the events in the warrant and that the accounting she gave to the officer was different. That the altercation was between Mr. Brooks's mother and brother, but she could not provide any names. That they've had altercations in the past, but this was the first time he's been arrested. She stated that they have minimal contact since this incident, that she's not in fear of the defendant. She's okay with having contact. Your Honor, I was able to find a couple of other battery family violence arrests from 2024, 2021, 2019, a simple battery. But with that being said, we would like to sound for the victim. I'm not sure if she's going to be on Zoom today. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services. I'll say no for the contact with Denitra Dawson, and she can come on if she's available. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Ms. Dawson is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. So, Mr. Cook, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We would not have any problem with obviously with the signature only bond. I don't believe the alleged victim lives at the incident. I'm not quite sure where the incident location is. I know my client lives at 405 Fairburn Road, and that's his mother's home. He'd want to be able to return there. I guess for one, they share a lot of children. So I would ask for a third party intermediary in the event anyone wants to visit their kids.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Denitra Dawson, drugs, alcohol, bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we have position number 6, Mr. Hill.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hill. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hill, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000896 with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, Your Honor, and I do want you to note that I was unable to access Odyssey, so there may be some things that are in Fulton County that I am not able to pull up, some convictions. But based upon the GCIC, there are 22 prior arrest cycles beginning in 1986. The last arrest was in July of 2023 for battery family violence. There is an open pretrial case. That case number is 23 CR 00438E as an elephant, and we would like to surrender that bond today. There were 8 misdemeanor convictions outside of the 10-year period, including a 97 simple battery and 2 felony convictions outside of the 10-year period. We do recommend level 2.
What's the open case?
I cannot see anything in Odyssey, so I'm not sure.
Okay, Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. And I also didn't see the open case. Just a couple of probation violations that have been more recent. This incident took place February 22nd, 2024. Law enforcement responded to the Motel 6 at 1377 Virginia Avenue in East Point. Upon arrival, the officer immediately observed swelling and bruising on Rochelle Marshall's upper right eye, bruising to her neck. She advised the officer that she and her boyfriend, Perry Hill, had been drinking. He became irritated with her. He then began striking her in the face with a closed fist. And Your Honor, based on the history and the most recent 2023 battery family violence, we're unable to see who the victim is in that case. The state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Rochelle Marshall. Stay away from the Motel 6 at 1377 Virginia Avenue, East Point. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
So you do know that the open case is a battery family violence case?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Your Honor. Yes, so the open case is a battery family violence from.
Oh, okay, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, my client has no problem with any stay away provisions from the location or the alleged victim here. Given the the history is a little bit vague, but we would ask the court to accept a pretrial recommendation of a level 2 SOB bond.
Okay, given that it's already out on an SOB bond for another allegation of a semi bond, no further contact with Rochelle Marshall, stay away from the Motel 6 on Virginia Avenue, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Ms. Washington, given that we can't see much that's in Odyssey, I'm not going to surrender the pretrial bond today.
Your
Okay.
Honor, I'm sorry, I'm late, but my Odyssey is working barely. I do have that previous case number. It just came up. Looks like it was a $4,000 pretrial release bond, 23 CR 004438E, Rochelle Washington. I believe that's the same victim as in this case. So that is the information that the court was inquiring about. So we would ask that pretrial bond is overturned.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walker. Given that, Ms. Washington, I will surrender the trial bond.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Hill.
Your
And
Honor,
yes.
what was the amount of the bond on this particular case? I'm sorry, and
1,000 good.
1,000.
As far as recent purposes, it looks like this previous case was on the competency calendar. I don't know if we want to track this case with the competency calendar as well. I think that would make the most sense.
Okay, so we'll put it on so Mr. Walker, you're saying instead of placing it on an SAP calendar, place it on the another competency calendar?
Yeah, I mean, based on what I'm seeing on Odyssey, it looks like the previous case had been on competency calendar 3 times previously. The last time it was on was 8/24 of last year. In front of you, it says track B. So I think that would be the most appropriate.
Okay, so I'm not sure, Miss Bridgewater, whatever that Thursday is, I'm not sure what the March 12th is, but.
It's a Tuesday
Okay, let's put it up
for the 14th
on the 14th. Yes, thank you.
on the competency calendar.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
is pretrial going to come off this case, the previous case, Your Honor?
They requested it and I granted.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Next we have position number 15, Mr. Perry. Pierre, I'm sorry, Pierre.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine, Mr. Pierre. Let's see. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000904 with battery. Ms. Washington.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has 15 prior arrest cycles beginning in 95. There are 3 felony convictions and 2 misdemeanor convictions outside of the 10-year period. Within the last 10 years, there was a 2017 misdemeanor conviction for criminal mischief. The defendant meets the criteria for release level 3. Nothing further.
And Your Honor, apologies, I didn't realize my camera wasn't on. But in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 20 Wall Street where they met with the victim, Mr. Jeffrey Biggers, Biggers. This was concerning a fight call. And speaking with the victim advised to law enforcement officer that he was maced by the defendant. We are asking for a $1,500 surety bond to stay away from the incident location. No contact with the victim, Mr. Jeffrey Biggers. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. We attempted to make contact with the victim. We were unable to make contact, and we are unaware of the relationship between the 2 individuals.
If Mr. Biggers is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Kim.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Pierre is 43 years old. He was born in Florida, and yet he moved to Georgia September 2023 because he had a job at Burger King, and he lost his job recently, and he has been homeless lately. He's been living in downtown near 20 Wall Street, and Mr. Biggers is another homeless person that they are kind of like a neighboring people there. And my client denies the allegation. He was attacked by him, and when the police arrived, he ran away. So my client is the only one who was arrested. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 3. He has no job and no money right now, Your Honor.
All right, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from 20 Wall Street. No further contact with Jeffrey Biggers, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Pierre.
Next is position number 2, the silver.
Come on. God bless you.
Good afternoon, Mr. De Silva. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have video?
Afternoon, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. De Silva, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000892 with 1 count of simple battery family violence and 1 count of simple assault family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
No prior history. This is the defendant's first arrest, so the defendant does meet the criteria for UJR jail.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 25th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a dispute call at 3304 Parkview Lane in Alpharetta. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with Erica Cardi, who stated that an argument between she and her husband, Renan De Silva, they had an argument after he turned off the Wi-Fi. He then approached her in a threatening manner, at one point bumping her with his chest, causing Miss Cardi to continuously create distance between herself and him. He also repeatedly lunged at her in an aggressive manner while yelling and pushing her. Our office has been in contact with the victim. She indicated that they are married. They do live together at the incident location. They share 1 child. She confirmed that Mr. De Silva did bump her with his chest, but that he never hit her. And she called the police hoping to de-escalate the situation, but not for him to be arrested. She stated this has never happened before. She's not in fear of the defendant. She does want to continue contact and for him to return to the residence. I do believe she may be on Zoom if we can sound for the victim. Based on a limited history, the state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, an anger awareness course, no further violent contact with Erica Cardi, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
If Miss Erica, what's the last name, Mr. Graham?
The last name is Cardi, C-A-R-T-Y.
If Erica Cardi is on the line and wishes to address the court, I do see an Erica Silva. I'm not sure if that's the same your
That's
opportunity.
the same person, Your Honor.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, ma'am, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity. You do not have to address the court, but if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to activate your camera and I'll have to swear you in.
How do I do that?
Okay, there you go. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yeah.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
What it was, he didn't hit me or anything, and I would like for him to return. I did call to try to de-escalate the situation that was said, but I definitely need him home. We share a child together, and I would like for him to be able to return home. And I'm not afraid of him. I have no fear or safety issues.
Has this ever happened before?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you being here this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we would be asking, given that there's no history and given the alleged victim's statement here, we would be asking for an SOB through the jail and with no anger management course. Certainly, we have no objection to no violent contact and no in the NADW provision.
Okay, for the simple battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the simple assault, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Miss Silva or Carter, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. De Silva. You also, Ms. Carter.
Okay, next we have, position number 9, Mr. King.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keene. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Keene, you've been charged in case 24 CR 0000898 with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has 32 prior arrest cycles beginning in 1995. The last arrest was October of 2020 for parole violation in LaGrange. There were 10 felony convictions and 4 misdemeanor convictions outside of the 10-year period, including a 2007 felony conviction for aggravated assault and a misdemeanor conviction for cruelty in the third. There's also a 2014 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass, a 2016 felony conviction for entering auto, a 2018 felony conviction for 2 counts of entering auto, and the defendant does appear to have an open case in Coweta County for entering auto, attempt to commit entering auto, and also possession of tools for commission of a crime. The defendant does meet the criteria for release level 3. Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr.
On a brief facts, good afternoon, and brief facts of the case is that on February 24, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a dispute call at the location of 1033 Hollywood Road, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. The officer made contact with the victim. Victim in this case is Tracy Satterwhite, Satterwhite, Tracy spelled Tracy, who advised that she had returned to her home, to her residence after being gone for a few days, at which point when she returned to the home, her baby's father, the defendant, was upset and very irate. He began shouting things at her like, "Go back to where you've been." And when she attempted to go back and enter her residence, the defendant physically attempted to hold the door closed to prevent her from going inside the residence. After the victim entered the residence, a verbal altercation escalated where the defendant aggressively snatched her hair off her head. Our office was fortunate enough to get in contact with the victim in this case. She states that they are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. They share 3 children together. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She states that this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her, and this is not the first time that he's been arrested. She states that he was arrested a while back for violence against her, and she states that she is not in fear of the defendant and she is okay with no violent contact. However, she states that she does not want the defendant to return to the residence and she wants him to stay away. I do believe that she's on the call, so if we could sound from Ms. Saderwhite in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. Your Honor, the state is quite concerned about the criminal history and likelihood to reoffend, so for that reason, the request would be a $1,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a no contact with the victim in this case, a stay away from the incident location, which is the home, and the completion of an anger awareness course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
Ms. Satterwhite would like to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. If you would like to, I'll need for you to activate your camera for me and I'll have to swear you in. Yes, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me? The other right hand.
Blood pressure up, so.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
He don't bother me. It's just he bothered me yesterday. You know, he usually don't act like that. I don't know what's wrong with him. What was his issue? I'm asking that he stay away from the home. Y'all get him some counseling or whatever he may need. You know what I'm saying? And he not a threat to me. I'm not scared of him at all.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And this afternoon, Mr. Ty, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is a 45-year-old father of 3. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He does deny the allegations and states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor. I think there's a lot of things in the warrant that shows that, you know, violence may be an issue with the complaining witness. I know that there is some history, but there's no recent history and no recent violent history, Your Honor. So I would ask for a signature on bond through pretrial services, no violent contact. I think the complaining witness has requested a stay away, so I guess we're fine with the stay away, and I wouldn't object to the 1-day anger awareness, nothing further.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Satterwhite, stay away from the incident location, third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, weapon bond. Good luck, Mr. King.
Next, we have position number 11, Mr. Kelly.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000900 with theft of services. Is there a history, Ms. Washington? You are mute, Ms. Washington.
There are 3 prior arrest cycles beginning in 2006. The defendant does appear to have a warrant for a parole violation with the warrant date of December 14th, 2023. Also, there is a 2016 misdemeanor conviction for a DUI alcohol, but I did not see any prior felony convictions, and the defendant does meet the criteria for release level 2.
You got a brief facts of the case is that on February 25th, 2024, the officers were asked to go inside of the club by security for an issue that they were having with a customer inside of the club. The defendant was a customer and he was highly intoxicated. And when he was asked to pay his bar tab and leave the establishment, it was established that he had inadequate funds to do so, funds totaling a total of $415.98. The nightclub wished to press charges. The name of the nightclub is actually Tongue and Groove, and it is located at 595 Main Street, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. The state was prepared to request a signature bond through the jail, but given, I guess, appears to be an active warrant, the state will be requesting a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from that tongue and groove location, Your Honor. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
If okay with you, Mr. Ty, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the tongue and groove and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Kelly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, nothing. Oh, okay, so oh, so I think it's next up.
Next, we have position number 14, Mr. Mason.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moore. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000903 with battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, the defendant has one prior arrest cycle. There are no misdemeanor convictions or felony convictions that were listed, and the defendant does meet the criteria for UJR jail.
Your Honor, not so brief facts of the case is that on February 25th, 2024, the officer was flagged down by the victim in distress at the location of 1050 Lenox Park Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia, apartment, looks like 14104. After responding to an unrelated call in the area, the victim stated that her live-in boyfriend, who was the defendant, would not give her phone back and that he assaulted her and that she wanted him to give her phone back and to leave the residence. After speaking with the victim, the defendant emerged from the garage and stated that the victim's phone was on the couch. While speaking with the defendant, the victim then emerged from the house after checking the house to say that she could not find the phone. The defendant then volunteered to go back inside the home and help to find the phone, at which point he did not return. And so the victim went inside the house and established that he had actually left out through the back door. Officers immediately checked the location for the defendant but could not find him. The victim confirmed that he not only had taken one of her iPhones, but he had taken two of her iPhones and her firearm. While speaking with the victim, the victim noticed that the defendant was coming back into the house through the back wooded area. And so officers attempted to detain him and place him in handcuffs, at which point he fled yet again throughout the backyard, hopping fences, eventually leading them on a foot chase for about 5 to 10 minutes before he was apprehended. During a follow-up investigation, the victim stated that earlier that day they had got into an argument about him not having a job. He left the location, then returned to the location. When he returned to the location, he pushed her to the ground. As she was attempting to call his mother, he took her phone. He choked her from the back with his arm around her neck. The officers observed the scratches to her upper right back. The officer advised that the victim advised that she and the defendant had been dating and in a relationship for a year and that they lived together at the location. The victim in this case, her name is Kimberly Nguyen, Kimberly, Nguyen spelled Nguyen. If we could sign for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. But the state's request is a $1,500 surety bond, $1,000 on the battery, family violence, $500 on the remaining willful obstruction, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, and the completion of an anger awareness course. And our office has not been able to get in contact with the victim, Your Honor.
Ms. Nguyen is on the line to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 26 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He has graduated from high school, earned an associate's degree, and had been working at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. He did recently lose his job and is looking for work right now. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant, states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor and also has MH issues. He's fine with the stay away, Your Honor. I would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve his belongings, and no further contact with the complaining witness is also no problem for my client. I would ask for a signature bond through the jail. He has no criminal history, and he is recommended for a UJR jail. So I would ask for a signature bond through the jail. No further contact is fine. Stay away is fine. Nothing further.
Okay, for the battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 bond through 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the incident location. He can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mason.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next we have position number 16. Mr. Reddick.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Reddick. I'm Judge Eric Mara. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
I do.
Thank you. Charged in case 24 CR 000905 with loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
No prior history. This is the defendant's first arrest. The defendant does meet the criteria for UJR jail.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 289 Jones Drive in Roswell. The defendant came to the address and pulled on the front door handle, stating that he was with Amazon. When he was not let in, he then went to the driveway of the vehicle, the driveway of the residence, and went through the vehicle. He was arrested on site. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, Miss Dwana, which is spelled Dwana, Bush, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Ms. Bush is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Given that this is his first offense, Ms. Kim, if it's all right with you, it'll be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Ms. Bush, stay away from the Jones Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Reddick.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 18, Mr. Rigby.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rigby. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Rigby, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000907 with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, there are 2 prior arrest cycles with multi-state interaction in Florida and in Georgia, beginning in 2020. The last arrest was in 2022 for an FCA in Florida. There are no misdemeanor convictions or felony convictions listed. The defendant is recommended and meets the criteria for UJR level 2.
Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Five Below department store located at 3612 Marketplace in East Point, Georgia. This defendant had previously been criminally trespassed from that location before by the store manager for random outbreaks and acts of violence and or threats. So the staff was very concerned to see the defendant back on the property. The state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond, and seeing how he's currently wanted or has an FTA out of Florida, we think a surety bond is most appropriate. We're asking for a stay away, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Rigby, he is 22 years young. He was born and raised here in Georgia, and he graduated from high school in Florida. Your Honor, he is gainfully employed at Red Lobster as a dishwasher, and he's been living alone right now to make a living. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 2. There was actually, if the warrant says he saw none of the accused acts conducted by the offender, Rigby. So there was no video, even the video footage does not show that he was actually doing something wrong. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
You have anything to say, Mr. Walker?
So there was a police report that was included in the warrant packet this morning, but that police report was from the previous incident. So I think the police report that you're referring to, Ms. Kim, is not from this incident. And I mean, to be quite frank, looking at your client, it doesn't look like he's mentally there. So at this point, the state will also be asking for a mental health evaluation.
I totally object to it. He is very clear. He has no, I mean, everybody is shocked, That's why they have a kind of shocked face, but that doesn't mean that he has any MH issue.
Well, he was previously criminally trespassed from the location, so I don't know how shocked he could be. But the report that you're referencing is not from this incident, and the state is asking for a mental health evaluation. I don't think, I mean, he literally looks like he's not present today.
No, I don't think so. I object to that request. He is fine.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away from Five Below at the marketplace, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Wigby. You're welcome.
Next, we have position number 19, Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000908 with 2 counts of criminal trespass and 1 count of giving false information to law enforcement. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, there were 16 arrest cycles beginning in 1991. The last arrest was in January of 2024 for theft by shoplifting and criminal trespass, which the defendant was convicted of. There are 5 misdemeanor convictions outside of the 10-year period. The defendant does appear to have an open case with Fulton County. That's 23 CR 007842. And again, I cannot see that in Odyssey at this time. There are no felony convictions listed within the last 10 years, and the defendant does meet the criteria for release level 3. Nothing further.
So in this case, Your Honor, the law enforcement officer was dispatched to the Walmart located at 844 Cleveland Avenue. Essentially, this defendant was caught stealing hardware tools from that location. He's previously been criminally trespassed from the location. We are asking for a $1,500 surety bond on each count, a stay away, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Why does he have 2 criminal trespass?
It should be a shoplifting and a criminal trespass. Is it otherwise on the calendar?
Yes, I have 2 criminal trespass and 1 giving false information. Is that what you have, Ms. Bridgewater?
Yes, sir, that's what I have.
Okay.
That's very interesting because that's not the accusations that were sent in. So, I believe I sent in an accusation for shoplifting and criminal trespass, but I could take a second look.
Okay. Well, we'll need to get the paperwork right. So,
Do we want to come back to this defendant? Because I'm almost certain those are not the right charges.
Ms. Bridgewater,
Yes, sir.
do you have any accusations?
They're working on those right now, John. Give me just a second. I'm like Mr. Walker. If you give me just a minute, we could double check to make sure this is okay.
Okay, so Mr. Thomas, I want to make sure we have your accurate charges. So if you will give us a moment, we'll come back to you, sir.
All right, next we'll do position number 20, Mr. Torres.
Good afternoon, Mr. Torres. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000909 with simple battery, family violence, and theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Washington? You with me, Ms. Washington?
I'm having the utmost technical issues today. Just
Okay.
bear with me one moment. Okay, this defendant has 12 arrest cycles beginning in 2017. There is a 2019 misdemeanor under the First Offender Act for theft by receiving stolen property, and that matter was sealed in 2019. There's also a 2021 misdemeanor conviction for driving while license was suspended. The last arrest was in 2022 for an FCA in Cobb County. This defendant does meet the criteria for release level 2. Nothing further.
Your Honor, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1321 Hemingway Lane, where they spoke to the victim, Ms. Avila Mayra. She advised that her and the defendant are in a relationship and resided at that location together. They were having a verbal disagreement that turned physical, at which point he pinned her to the to the bed in their bedroom. He then took her iPhone and fled the scene. The state is asking for a $1,500 surety bond on each count, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, Ms. Mayra, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And I believe Ms. Avila Mayra may be on the line, so we would sound for her, please.
Ms. Vila would like to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. You, of course, do not have to, but if you would like to, you'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Yes, ma'am. Would you like to address the court? Is that a yes? I'm sorry.
I would.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
The no contact, I wouldn't like that. I don't find him a harmful person. It was just a bad day we were having.
Has this happened before?
No, sir.
Are you afraid of him?
I'm not.
Okay, and do you all live together?
We do.
Okay, and you like him back in the home?
I would.
Okay, anything further, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Torres is 24 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. Actually, it's very clear from here. Can you turn to the? He's the one who has a lots of scratches on his face. He is very big. He didn't actually lay any hand on her. He took the iPhone because those are his iPhone. He actually bought for her. Yeah, he paid for it, but he doesn't want to fight about that right now. We are not going to talk about the facts of the case. We just want to say that he's gainfully employed and he does concrete. He graduated from high school. He does not have any addiction, Your Honor. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 3. He does have a foreign county arrest warrant right now, so he has to be anyway in hold and to be released to Douglas County. So, I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's not a flight risk. And no further violent contact we would like to request for. Thank you.
All right, for the simple battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the theft, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Torres.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We have position number 21, Mr. Villanueva.
Good afternoon, Mr. Villanueva. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000910 with theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, the defendant had 3 prior arrest cycles beginning in 2019. There were no misdemeanor convictions or felony convictions listed. The defendant meets the criteria for release level 2.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2124 Cheshire Bridge, where they spoke to the victim, Miss Alicia Lewis. She advised that she worked at the location. The defendant went into her purse that was located in the break room and took $365 out of her purse and put it into his pocket. I believe this was captured on camera. I looked up this location. It looks like it's a Vanna Cheshire Bridge Apartments. We are asking for a stay away from the incident location. No contact with the victim, Miss Alicia Lewis. No weapon, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Okay, with you, Ms. Kim, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
Yes, Your Honor, except that he resides at 2124 Cheshire Bridge, apartment number 8308. So he has to return back home.
Okay, well, he can go back to his apartment, but he needs to stay away from the alleged victim's apartment.
Thank you.
And to be clear, Your Honor, I believe the victim works in the leasing office.
Okay, well, he's to stay away from the leasing office.
Next, we have position number 22, Mr. Walker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walker. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
I do.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000911 with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
No prior history, Your Honor. This is the defendant's first arrest. The defendant does meet the criteria for UJR jail.
In this case, Sharon law enforcement was dispatched to 2159 Fairbairn Road, where they spoke to the victim. I will spell her first name TEAMACHION, last name Walker. She is the defendant's cousin. They both reside at their location together. I would like to note for the court that she is disabled. Law enforcement was called because they were in a verbal disagreement. He pushed her down multiple times. With her being disabled, the state has grave concern for her safety with this individual. We are asking for a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond, and no contact in case I didn't state that earlier.
Have you spoken with the alleged victim, Mr. Walker, your office?
Let me check, Your Honor. I can tell the court in a second if defense would like to know.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Walker is 22 years old, and that location, incident location, is actually not his residency. His mother's friend resides there. He was visiting there. He is totally okay from to stay away from that location because he lives with his mother in a different location. Your Honor, my client denies the allegation. There was a little bit of argument, however, he does not think that there should have been any battery charge. And he was working as a security, and he recently lost his job. And he completed up to 10th grade. Right now, he's trying to get GED at Atlanta Tech College. We would like to request for signature on bond since this is his first offense ever. He is okay with this no further contact with his cousin.
Okay. As such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Walker, stay away from the Fairburn Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Walker. Have we resolved the issue on?
I think I have to draft a new accusation, Your Honor.
Okay.
I see ACDC logged on, so I don't know if we can.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Officer Milton. Where we
Hi.
standing today?
Awesome day. Okay, you ready for ACDC?
Yes, I believe we are.
Okay, first we're gonna have position 3. Ms. Dixon, please come forward, have a seat.
Good afternoon, Ms. Dixon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Dixon, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000893 with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
No prior history, Your Honor. This is the defendant's first arrest, so the defendant does meet the criteria for UJR jail.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 24th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 64 Skyland Drive in Roswell. Upon arrival, the officer noticed visible scratches on Robin Dixon. He is the husband of Laura Dixon. Scratches on his left cheek and some blood on his shirt. The injuries were caused by Miss Dixon after a verbal argument between the two of them. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, anger awareness, no further contact with Robin Dixon, stay away from the location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We've been unable to contact the victim, and that's the reason for the recommendation, but we would like to sound for him just in case he may be online.
Okay, if Mr. Robin Dixon is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
No, we would certainly like a signature only bond. Could we review the address, incident location address?
Say it again.
I was wanting to have the incident location address repeated.
64 Skyland Drive, I believe.
I believe that is her home. I've not been able to reach her husband either. I mean, her comments to me was he wanted her to come home. That's Mr. Robin Dixon, I believe, is the alleged victim. They've been married for a number of years, so stay away. And they have two twin boys, 10 years of age. I would ask for signature only bond and a no violent contact, and allow her to go home and take care of these kids.
How old are the children?
10 years old, Your Honor, the twin boys.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Robin Dixon, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Dixon.
Thank you. You know, sorry.
Ms. Dixon, did you hear me?
Your Honor, is that signature on pre-trial or jail? Is that pre-trial or jail?
It's through pretrial.
Is that pre-trial or jail, Your Honor?
It's through pretrial. Can you hear me?
Hold on. Wait. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Cook?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not on my end.
Ms. Hill, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, Your Honor, I don't want to,
So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, it's a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, could I address a previous position 6, Antonio Hill? My colleagues brought something to my attention on that case. I don't want to catch anybody flat-footed here, but he's been in custody starting from in East Point, starting from the 22nd. So we're past 48 hours. We're past 72 hours, and I would ask the court to review the bond and at least consider the signature only bond in that case.
Well, I don't know anything more than what you're telling me, there, Mr. Cook. I'm not sure whose case this was, so that they can address. Let me take that up at the end of the calendar. Let's keep
Okay,
moving this
thank you.
calendar, and then, that'll give whoever's case that is an opportunity to look into it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who do we have next, Officer Milton? Officer Milton?
Sorry about that. Next, you ready for the next one, Your Honor?
I'm ready.
Position 4, Gary.
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Gary. I'm Judge. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Miss Gary, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000894 with escape. Is there a history?
No. Yes, Your Honor. There are 20 arrest cycles with multi-state interaction in Florida and in Georgia. The last arrest was in April of 2023 for battery. There is a 2012 misdemeanor conviction for battery. There are no felony convictions listed. The defendant does meet the criteria for release level 3. Nothing further.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place February 24th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to the Imperial Hotel. It's at 355 Peachtree Street, Northeast Atlanta. They had a call of Miss Bridget Gary in the hallway of the hotel carrying a gun. Security told law enforcement she was just carrying it. She wasn't doing anything else with it otherwise. Upon arrival, they did encounter Miss Gary. They did not find a firearm on her person. She was confirmed wanted out of Fulton County on a parole violation and taken into custody. Once placed in the back of the patrol car, she managed to get out of the handcuffs, open the door, and began to run. She was apprehended shortly thereafter and taken into custody without further incident. Based on the history, Your Honor, and the pretrial recommendation, the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from the Imperial Hotel location. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Can I speak?
Miss Gary, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You should let Mr. Cook speak on your behalf, okay? You'll have a chance to defend yourself at some later date.
Ms. Gary, we were just given favorable terms. Ultimately, it's up to the judge to decide, but I would ask you to remain silent at this point.
Anything further, Mr. Cook?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Imperial Hotel and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Miss Gary.
Thank you. Next, we have a seat there for me. Next, we have position 7, Victoria Irby. No talking.
Good afternoon, Ms. Irby. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000897 with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, Your Honor. Just one prior arrest cycle out of Nebraska for obstructing police. There are no prior misdemeanor convictions or felony convictions. The defendant does meet the criteria for UJR jail. Nothing further.
Thank you.
On a brief facts of the case is that on February 24, 2024, the officer was dispatched to 445 Cleveland Avenue, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia, on a domestic dispute. The officer met with the caller, who's the victim in this case, Jasmine, Jasmine, Daniels, Daniels, who advised that she lives at the location with her girlfriend, the defendant. The victim stated that the defendant and her were engaged in a verbal altercation earlier that day. at which point the altercation became violent and when the defendant physically attacked her. She stated that the defendant punched her in the face with a closed fist and slapped her in the face with an open palm several times. She had ulcerated scratches on her neck. The victim stated that she told the defendant to leave the location several times after she assaulted her, but she refused. The victim stated that the victim had several visible scratches and lacerations on both sides of her neck when the officers arrived. The recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the victim in this case, and the completion of an anger awareness course. Unfortunately, our office was not able to get in contact with her, but if we could sign for Ms. Daniels in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor.
If Ms. Jasmine Daniels is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 24 years old, and as you heard, she has no criminal history. She has lived in Georgia for several years. She does deny the allegations and states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor and was damaging property in the home. I would ask, because she has no history and she is recommended for a signature to the jail with I mean, I'm not sure if Your Honor is inclined to grant, no violent contact. I wasn't able to get in touch with the complaining witness either. But I would ask just for a signature bond through the jail and no further restrictions, Your Honor.
And the state would simply point out that the incident date is 2 days ago.
It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness. Since no one's heard from Ms. Daniels, no further contact with Ms. Daniels at this time. Stay away from the Cleveland Avenue address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Of course, if someone does hear from Ms. Daniels and she wishes to modify this in the future, we can address that at that time. Good luck to you, Ms. Irby. Who do we have next?
Can we go with position number 12? Mr. Kemp?
Miss.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Ms. Kemp, sorry.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Kemp. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kemp, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000901 with battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, there are 7 prior arrest cycles with multi-state interaction in North Carolina beginning in 2015. The last arrest was in July of 2023 for battery, family violence in Fulton County, and that case does appear to be open. I do not have that case number. There is a 2022 misdemeanor conviction for driving while license is suspended, a 2017 arrest for assault inflicting serious injury. That case was dismissed. The defendant also appears to have an open case in Clayton County regarding a 2021 simple battery, family violence, and a criminal trespass case. The defendant also appears to have a case open from Clayton County in 2022 for battery and aggravated assault, which there appeared to be a warrant for an FTA with a warrant date of August 7, 2023. The defendant does meet the criteria for release level 3. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that the victim advised the officer that the defendant went to a hotel to recover her bag from the victim, and she was told to wait downstairs. However, she did not adhere to that. She instead went upstairs and followed the victim, at which point she busted in the room as described by the victim. The defendant then started to beat on the victim. The victim's son walked into the room and had to, I guess, beg her to stop hitting on or to get off top of his mother. The victim and the defendant have been in a relationship since September 2023. They have also been living together. The defendant did not want to identify herself when being asked several times by the officer, and they essentially took off running, leading several officers on a chase at the time of apprehension. Our office has not been able to, I'm sorry, our office has fortunately have been able to get in contact with the victim in this case. She advised that they are in a relationship and they currently live together at the hotel. She confirmed the events in the warrant. I will let her speak I think that she is on Zoom today. If we could sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law, as it relates to her name is Alexis, Alexus Smith, Smith. The incident location is 2145 Old National Parkway, College Park here in Fulton County, Georgia. And Your Honor, I know we just heard it, but I just kind of want to walk through it one last time. She's basically every year picked up some charge of violence, battery, family violence to be specific. She has the 2021 simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass out of Clayton that was dismissed. She, however, has the 2022 battery ag assault out of Clayton, and she has 2023 battery, family violence out of South Fulton. Which brings us to another case here today that she's picked up with an incident date of February 24, 2024. Given all of that, and in addition, she was simultaneously, I believe, arrested for a felony, which is financial transaction card fraud, 24 PI 001350. So she has quite an extensive history, Your Honor. However, given that the state is going to request a $3,000 surety bond, $2,000 on the battery, family violence, $1,000 on the willful obstruction, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. Nothing further to add from the state, and if we can just sound for the victim, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Ms. Alexis Smith would like to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. You to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in.
Can you see me now?
I cannot.
Please allow someone to access your camera device settings. Okay, 1 second. I have to go through the settings to activate it.
Mr. Todd, while Ms. Smith is trying to get her camera.
Can you see me now?
I cannot, Ms. Smith.
I don't know how to get this working. Video. I don't know how to get the video part working, but I was not the one that called the officers, and I definitely did not tell them.
Ms. Smith, I can't talk to you unless you get your camera working for me. So happy to listen to you. I get the camera working. All right, Mr. Ty, you go ahead while she tries to do that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 31 years old. She has lived in Georgia all her life. She's a graduate of North Carolina State University and is also a military veteran. She served 2 tours overseas. She does deny the allegations in the warrant. The complaining witness was the first aggressor. She has scratches on her neck. But Your Honor, neither one of them called the police. I understand the state is pointing out a lot of open cases. She's presumed innocent of those charges, and has very little criminal history. I just heard a 2022 some traffic. I mean, everything else is open, or the other cases were dismissed, Your Honor. So I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1, and I wouldn't object to a 1-day anger awareness, considering there are some, open charges, but I think that's all that is called for in this case with their open cases. She doesn't have any convictions, and a stay away from the incident location is fine. I believe if we could hear from the complaining witness, she would ask for no violent contact with my client.
Okay, Ms. Smith, do you think you've been able to get your camera working? Okay, there you go. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Okay, I wasn't the one that called the officers. That is false about my son, pulling me off of her. She did not beat me. I didn't never tell them that she beat me. I did tell them that I asked her to wait downstairs, but I never told them that she was beating on me though. She was drinking, so drinking probably caused a lot of the argument, but I've never seen her like this. I'm not scared of her. I don't mind her coming back over here. But the statement they got, that came from somebody else.
Okay, thank you for being in here this afternoon, Ms. Smith. As such, for the battery, it'll be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. The obstruction, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Alexis Smith, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Kemp.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Let's see, who do we have next at ACDC?
Position 8, Miss Jones.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Jones. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Jones, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000887 with simple battery in a public transit vehicle or station and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has 19 prior arrest cycles beginning in 2013. The last arrest was January 18, 2024, with the Martyr Police Department for criminal trespass and possession and use of drug-related objects. There's also a 2015 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass. There's a 2016 arrest for simple battery, family violence in Fulton County. That case number is 16 CP 159429. There's also a 2018 arrest for battery, family violence, and a 2018 misdemeanor conviction for battery, family violence, battery, and disorderly conduct. There's a 2019 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass, a 2020 misdemeanor conviction for 2 counts of simple battery and disorderly conduct, a 2022 misdemeanor conviction for possession and use of drug-related objects, and then lastly, a 2023 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass. The defendant meets the criteria for release level 3. Nothing further.
Thank you.
On a brief facts of the case is that the victim stated that while working at the Atlanta Art Center, at the Art Center MARTA station located at 1255 West Peachtree Street, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia, the victim was approached when the defendant came up to her and got in her face. The defendant then pushed the victim with her body, then proceeded to push her with the palm of her hand. Then the defendant picked up a box and threw it at the victim. Also, the defendant intentionally entered the MARTA Art Center train station knowing that she had a permanent ban from all MARTA properties, which was issued on what appears to be September 21st, 2023. Your Honor, the state's position is, I mean, if I could just put it frank, something has to shake because she has, within just 1 year alone, 4 arrests, and I guess this makes the 5th arrest, with MARTA being the incident location. 2023 ag assault, MARTA. 2023 criminal trespass, MARTA. 2023 theft by taking, MARTA. Another criminal trespass in 2024 in January 18th, criminal trespass and drug-related, MARTA. So not only is she criminally trespassing at the MARTA, but she is creating victims and she's, acting in a violent manner. And so the state is concerned. And so the state will have to request a surety bond. And the breakdown for the state's request is a $500 on the simple battery in a public transit vehicle or station and a $250 on the criminal trespass for a total of $750 surety. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. A please stay away from all MARTA locations, and a no contact with the victim. In this case, the victim is Patricia Parker, Patricia traditional spelling, Parker, Parker, traditional spelling. Our office was not able to get in contact with Ms. Parker, but if we could sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
Ms. Parker's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Atai?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 29 years old, and she is the mother of 2 minor children. She has lived in Georgia all her life. She does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. Your Honor, she does have a good address. She has family to help support her. She has a good phone number. She understands her obligation to return to court. And she's fine with the stay away and no further contact, nothing further.
All right, for the simple battery, a $500 good bond. For the criminal trespass, a $250 good bond. That makes for a $750 good bond. Stay away from all MARTA and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms.
And a
Jones.
no contact, Your Honor.
Yeah, no contact with Patricia Parker. Who do we have next?
Next, we have position number 13, Miss Little.
Good afternoon, Ms. Little. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000902 with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, actually, no prior history. This is the defendant's first arrest, so we do recommend UJR jail.
Thank you.
Your Honor, and the state has amended and submitted the accusation for this to be a battery family violence. There was an indication that the victim and the defendant lived together and at that location and have lived there since September 23rd. But brief facts of the case is that on February 24, 2024, the officer was dispatched to 6096 Barfield Road, Unit 722, Sandy Springs, Georgia 30328 in Fulton County, Georgia. Looks like that is a Water Walk Atlanta in the perimeter center. In response to a domestic dispute, the victim stated that the defendant had struck him with a metal broom. The officer asked the victim if he had any injuries, to which he displayed red abrasions on his left forearm, in addition to the left side of his abdomen. Also, the skin on both of the lacerations were raised and red. The defendant herself admitted to the officers that she had struck the victim repeatedly with the metal broom after a dispute occurred. The officer observed the metal broom in the kitchen of the residence and saw that it had severe damage and that it was bent. The defendant captured the incident on his cell phone and provided that to the officer. In the video, you could see her verbally being aggressive towards the victim, raising her voice and subsequently striking him 2 times with the metal broom. According to the victim, he put the phone down. She struck him 3 to 5 times more with the broom. And as I stated, they lived together. Your Honor, if we could sound for the victim in this case, Reginald Ingram, REGINALD, Ingram, INGRAM, in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, as our office has not been able to get in contact with him. Recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from that incident location, no contact with the victim, and the completion of an anger awareness course. And I just point out that the incident date is 2 days prior to today.
Mr. Ingram's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Atai?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 26 years old. She is the mother of a 2-year-old son. She has lived in Georgia all her life. As you heard, she has absolutely no criminal history. This was her very first arrest. She does deny the allegations in the warrant. I wasn't able to get in touch with the complaining witness. I was able to get in touch with him. And he states that he would like no violent contact with her, but would like to stay away. So I would have to go along with that, but I would ask for no violent contact. He states that, he still wants to support her. He was concerned, with how quickly she'd be able to be released because she has a job or a badge training tomorrow for her new job at the airport. And he, said that he really would like to support her and like to see her out of jail. And Your Honor, my client does deny the allegations in the warrant and states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor. I would ask for a signature bond through the jail. This is her first arrest. She does need to get out so that she can get that training done and start her job to support her child. And I would ask for a signature bond through the jail and stay away is fine and violent contact and nothing further, Your Honor.
So, does she live with Mr. Ingram
She does live with him, so,
at the Barfield Road address?
yes.
Okay. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness. At this point in time, no further contact with Mr. Ingram. Stay away from the Barfield Road address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Little.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Next is position 17, Nicole Roan.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Roan. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are completing by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Roan, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000906 with battery, family violence, and simple battery against a police officer or detention officer. Is there a history, Ms. Washington?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 7 prior arrest cycles beginning in 2006. The last arrest was in 2023 for simple assault, 2 counts of willful obstruction and riot in a penal institution. And that case does appear to be open. There is 1 misdemeanor conviction outside of the 10-year period. No felony convictions were listed, and the defendant does appear to be on pretrial currently, and we would like to surrender that bond. The case number is 22 SC 184351 for criminal damage to property and battery. The defendant does meet the criteria for release level 2. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 55 Milton Avenue, where they spoke to the victim, Ms. Zykeria Price, who was the daughter of the defendant. She advised that her and her mother were engaged in a verbal disagreement where her mother violently attacked her. The officer observed multiple visible injuries on the victim's body. For whatever reason, the defendant was transported to the hospital, at which time she became disorderly with the staff as the officer was trying to restrain her. She did attack one of the officers there on site, and that's the basis for the simple battery against a police officer. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond on each count, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with her daughter, Zykeria Price, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while bond.
Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mrs. Ron, is 39 years old. Even though she was born in Honolulu, she has been here in Georgia for almost all her life, Your Honor. She has no objection to stay away from 55 Milton and also have no contact with her daughters, 22 and 19. My client says that her eyes are really dark and black eyes. You can totally see right now from the screen that she was the one who was attacked a lot more. She got scratches, and her daughters are a lot bigger than her. Her daughter is 22 years old, and my client is very small and petite. And she has been working at Chick-fil-A, and she's afraid that she's going to lose her job. If she loses her job, she does not have any place to go, even though she wants to stay away from the location they reside together. She wants to have her own apartment and her own independence. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 3, and that's what we would like to request for. Thank you.
Well, I think she was already on a pretrial bond, and pretrial is asking for the court to actually surrender that bond. So that's the reason why we're asking for a surety bond.
Yeah.
Right. let's see, for the battery, it'll be a $1,500 good bond. For the simple battery, a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Zakiria Price. Stay away from the Milton Avenue address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Bridgewater, did you get the, I will surrender that pretrial bond. Did you get that case number so that we can place both of these cases if she does not get out of custody on that March 12th SAP calendar?
No, sir, will you give it to me, please?
I believe that
I thought it was a felony.
I'm sorry, it is not a, it's not a misdemeanor case. I apologize. So, and as far as surrendering that, that bond, I'm not going to surrender that at the present time. I'll let, someone from the felony division seek, to have that done. All right.
Your Honor, I apologize, and yet there are two more charges in her booking report: willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and disorderly conduct. So are these all NOD?
I'm going to NOD those two charges, Ms. Kim.
You are?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we need paperwork for NOD. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
All right. Good luck, Miss Roan.
May I speak to you for a second, Judge?
No. I strongly recommend you not to speak.
Oh, Your Honor, her daughter, Zakiria Price, is on the line.
Oh,
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Price. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. The other right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes, I would just like to inform the court that I feel like my mom has an alcohol problem. I'm not saying that she drinks on a daily or heavily, but when alcohol is involved, she does tend to just lose control. And I really would like for the court to court order her to get some help because she's a good person. I know she's capable of taking care of herself, and we have a little brother that needs to be back with her. He currently lives with his dad right now, and she's just been having a very hard time just keeping her life together. I don't want her in jail, and I do apologize to her for the incident occurred, but alcoholism is her downfall every time. I don't want her to have to keep going through what she's going through. I don't want her to stay here because I feel like we'll continue to have altercations if she does. I did try to talk to her job. If she is released, I feel like she'll be able to go up there and talk to them herself to see if they could allow her to come back to work. But yeah, I would strongly recommend some type of rehabilitation because every time alcohol is involved, there's always some type of violence or incident issues with her. And I don't want that anymore.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Price. I've already made my, I've given her a bond, and that includes no alcohol, drugs while out on bond. And if she does, then she'll be in violation of that bond order. So if there's something more, you'll be informed of your mother's next hearing date, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for being here.
You too.
Who do we have next?
Can we revisit position number 19?
Okay, are you all ready on Mr. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused, ACDC?
Okay, does that everyone that we, let's see. Okay, I think that, what are we gonna do with Herschel Hargett, position 5? And position 10, Kendrez Killam. If neither of those are at ACDC, you're free to go, Officer Melton.
I'm not aware that they are here. Are those females or males?
No, it looks like they're males.
Target was released.
They'll be at Rice Street probably.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Have a good afternoon. And we also have a Joseph Wheat, position 23.
yeah. Your Honor, I was told that number 5, target was released, bonded out, and number 18, upgrade, I mean, not number 18, number 23, Mr. Weed, upgraded to felony, Your Honor. Would you please
Okay,
verify Mr.
thank
Weed?
you.
All right, what about Mr. Weed?
Upgraded to felony, that's what I was told.
Who said that?
It was at, booking. The booking report, the first page, everything is 24 PI 00136. So PI is pre-indictment, so we assumed.
Your Honor, let me take a look into Mr. Weed because I don't know what Ms. Kim's talking about.
Okay,
It's a Odyssey first page. Yeah.
so he'll take a look at that. Are we ready on Mr. Thomas?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay, and he has a criminal trespass. What was and a
It
given
should
false
be
information?
Yeah, it should be a criminal trespass and a shoplifting. Now, I will say I accidentally sent in 2 criminal trespass accusations, but no accusation for the false information was sent in. That actually is going to be an NOD. But as far as the criminal trespass and the shoplifting, we are asking for a $1,500 surety bond, Your Honor. And
Okay,
since it was him stealing from Walmart.
So there's only one criminal trespass, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. And then 1 shoplifting.
Okay, so we're only dealing with 2 charges.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you have everything that you need, Ms. Bridgewater?
No, I need,
Well, I sent it to Miss Williams, and I think she's received it in the last 10 minutes or so.
okay, well, you can just give it to me over the phone. I'll write, over the Zoom, I'll write it down.
Okay, just let me know what you need to know on the
Where's the
shoplifting.
shoplifting from?
It's at the same location, Walmart, 844 Cleveland Avenue.
Okay. That's all I need.
Okay.
Okay, and I think we'd already gotten through his history, you've gotten through the facts, and Ms. Kim, I believe we were with you.
I was not able to argue yet. I would like to
Okay.
explore a bond argument. Your Honor, we believe that this is Riverside issue. He was arrested at Union City on February 21, 2024. So it has been already 5 days for the same charge. There was nothing else that was holding him at Union City. He was transferred to Wright Street. He's been in the jail for more than 5 days, Your Honor. He does not have any family members who can bail him out. He graduated from high school. He is working really hard. He was born in New York, but he has been here in Georgia ever since 2009. He works and clean up the house that he resides for the landlord, and then he can stay there. Your Honor, the theft by shoplifting, it was only for $48.20, and we would like to request for a signature on bond. Through pretrial level 3 is fine, Your Honor.
Okay.
Or jail, actually, because this is Riverside issue.
For the criminal trespass, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the shoplifting, $1,000 signature bond through the jail makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from Walmart on Cleveland Avenue, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank
Stay away
you,
from
Your Honor.
Walmart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, what do we, Miss Ashley Eclese, are we gonna visit her case?
Say it again.
Miss Ashley Eclese?
Eclese?
Yes.
What?
She's not on the calendar. But she's on our poll sheet.
Does anybody know anything
I
about
believe
that
she's
case?
an NOD, Your Honor, but let me double check.
Okay, while he's checking on that, what about position 10, Ken Trez Killam?
Oh, he waived his appearance.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Ashley Icleus was a DA transfer.
The what? Say again, Mr. Graham, she was a what?
Was a felony transfer to DA's office.
I'm kidding.
Huh? Who, for what? Let them handle it, that's what he's here for, that's your son, right there.
Could I ask, just to inquire, what rose to a felony?
Yeah, this is her second battery family violence with the same victim who's her child. That's why.
Yeah, and he's in defects and has all kind of problems, but okay, they'll handle it upstairs, they'll handle it superior level.
Okay, before we do position 10, I just want to get clarification on position 23. Do we know what happened to Joseph Wheat?
I mean, the state. I don't know anything about felony transfer. The state didn't transfer the charge. I have a misdemeanor warrant, and I'm prepared to go forward with the hearing.
Well, we don't have him here, so
Is he on the calendar? Are you saying he's not on the calendar? Or he's not in courtroom too.
he's not in courtroom too. Are they?
Hold on.
He was on the felony pull sheet too, on the felony calendar, I believe.
And we're sure it's the same case, not multiple cases. Because I mean, I could double check, but I read the warrant. I mean, I read the report, and the report listed 2 different incident dates, one for a felony and one for a misdemeanor.
So I guess the question is, are we going to be able to get him today?
I can find out. Give me 1 second.
Okay, while we do that, let's go and do the waiver. Position number 10, Mr. Killam, case 24 CR 000899 is charged with battery family violence. Is there a history for Mr. Killam?
Yes, Your Honor. 5 prior arrest cycles beginning in 2015 with multi-state interaction in Virginia. The last arrest was in 2020 for malicious wounding, and that was in Virginia. There was 1 misdemeanor conviction for theft by taking, and the defendant did meet the criteria for release level 1. Nothing further.
Thank you.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that the officer spoke with the victim, who advised that someone stated to him that the defendant had broken into the entrance door to his place. The victim asked the defendant at that point, or at some point, if everything was okay, to which the defendant replied, "Leave me alone or I'll kill you." Moments after that, the defendant threw an alcoholic beverage at the victim, followed up with a fist, striking the victim in the head area. Officers observed the victim having a left eye as being swollen shut. Our office was fortunate enough to get in contact with the victim. Victim's name is Cornelius, Carnelius, Christian, Christian, who advised that the defendant and he are roommates. He advised that the defendant broke his bedroom door while he was not home. He stated that when he arrived home, he asked the defendant, or basically confirmed the events in the warrant, Your Honor. The victim stated that later the defendant started throwing beer bottles at him, and one struck him in the eye, and then struck him in the eye. The victim stated that he sustained bruising to the eye, and he stated that this has never happened before. He stated that he does not want contact with the defendant, and that he does not want the defendant to return to the residence, and that the defendant will need a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belongings. I do not believe that the victim will be on the call today, but if we could sound for Mr. Christian, in accordance with Marcia's thought, that'd be greatly appreciated. Given the technically limited history and no violence in the history, the state will be recommending a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to stay away from that incident location. And I think I didn't list that, but it is 4783 West Park Circle in East Point, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia, for the defendant to have no contact with the victim in this case and to complete an anger awareness course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
If Mr. Christian's on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 30 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. As you heard, he has virtually no criminal history, very little criminal history. But I would be fine with I would like him to be able to return to his home. I wasn't able to get in touch with the complaining witness, but I understand if Your Honor has to order a stay away and no further contact. Of course, he would need a one-time law enforcement escort, and I would object to the anger awareness course, Your Honor. Nothing further. Oh, and of course, signature bond through the jail because of the limited criminal history.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Cornelius Christian. Stay away from the West Park Circle address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, so I guess we're waiting on position 23, Joseph Wheat.
Your Honor, while we wait, I do believe that unfortunately has concluded my business with the court. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon, Mr. Pierre Thomas.
Thank you, you too as well, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Weed, we didn't have a chance to interview him yet because we didn't think that he was going to be here today.
It's listed under the felony case number, so we won't be able to touch it today. So perhaps it should remain in felony court, Your Honor.
It is the felony court, Your Honor.
Okay, so.
Okay, and since I have you, Mr. Walker, did you want to address what counsel brought up on position number 6, Perry Hill, regarding the possible Riverside issue?
It says that he was transported to East Point. I'm not sure what occurred there those 2 days. I believe he was checked into Fulton County Jail on the 24th, but if the court does rule that it's Riverside, we are still asking that his previous pretrial services bond is overturned and converted into a surety bond because he has 2 open cases.
Okay, did I order that already?
I think you did.
Yes, you did.
Your Honor, he was definitely taken into custody by East Point on the 22nd. Same charge. I appreciate, what went before, but we're looking at over 72 hours actually.
Okay, so I'm going to change the good bond to a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness. And with the rest of the conditions that were imposed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are we still putting him on that comp calendar?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's leave him there for now, I guess. Ms. Washington, do you have an input?
Yes, I just wanted to confirm we are surrendering the previous pretrial.
And how much was that?
4,000.
Okay, yes, we are. So let's leave him on the comp calendar so we can address it at that time possibly. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, does that conclude everything? Are we ready to go over the calendar?
One thing, Mr. Walker, did you see my email about another charge for Richard Nelson, which we don't have a warrant for, a citation for, and the records is saying that there's just another charge and he still hasn't been released.
Oh, okay. Well, if you submit an updated bond order, I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you. I emailed it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
We ready, Ms. Bridgewater?
I am.
Okay.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is March the 12th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 2 is reset to further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 3, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 5 has been released, therefore is reset further notice. 6 is a $3,000 SOB through pretrial, however, is going to the competency calendar on March 14th. 7 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 8 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $750 good bond. 9, SAP calendar with a $100 good bond. I'm sorry, a $1,000 good bond. 10 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 12, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 13, that charge has been changed to battery family violence. Is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 14, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 15, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 16, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 17 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 18, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 19 is only has 2 charges, criminal trespass and theft by shoplifting, and is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. 20, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 21, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 22 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Now on this Joseph Wheat, how should I mark my calendar? Is he not on docket? I mean, what are we gonna do? I need to say something. Are we resetting him? State, give me some input.
It'll be a no prize.
Okay, are you gonna send something?
Wait, he's on the calendar for today though, right?
Yes,
What position is he?
that's number 23, Joseph Wheat, the last case.
He's
Okay.
in at the felony court, 24.
I'll no prize it.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Okay, so you'll send that to me so that I can send it to the judge so that we can get it to the jail.
Yes.
Okay, well, with that being said, are there any other questions, comments, or otherwise?
No, thank you.
All right, y'all have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
It's gonna take me a minute to get this together for you, so.
Okay, I understand. So. All right, I'll see y'all next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm gonna go ahead and